It's Coach Cal, and I'm here to present to you the Flexingtons, presented by Richie Lange. Go Big Blue!
Monday, October 9th, came in yelling. Big Blue Nation was shaking as Richie Lanza checking back in for another edition of the Flexingtons. So I understand it's been a minute. It's been a few weeks. This is that dead time. It's that dead time of year where all we got is football and a little bit of basketball notes. But to be honest with you, I wasn't just, sitting back, chilling, vacationing, doing my own thing. I actually moved back to Florida pretty recently. No more New York. It was just going to be a seasonal thing anyways. Went through a lot. I'm not going to go deep dive into that, but it was good to go home, see my peoples. I haven't really been to New York more than a weekend. And to be there for 4 months, it was nice. And I know if I were to ever do it again, I would do it even better. And what I mean by that is for the pocket-wise. But anyways, I know I've been gone. It's been a minute. And listen, I'm back. And I meant to hit this button, but I hit the boing button. But I'm just going to let that ride. I can't believe I just did that. But it's been a minute. And I'm happy to be back. We got lots of topics to touch on. And most of them will be in chronological order. It's not necessarily by importance. And I'm excited for a bunch of these topics. And now we're back. We're back into the flow. I'm comfortable now. I'm at my desk. I got an even more upgraded setup than before. When you're gone and you're envisioning being back in your space where you're comfortable, you kind of scheme and plan how to do things bigger and better. I got some big news to share with y'all. And as much as I want to share with it now, I'd rather share with you this big news when it's all public and official and, it's there right in front of you instead of something to kind of wait for, if that makes sense. But we got lots to get into. Enough about me. Back to Kentucky and let's ride. So this week, our biggest news, obviously, is Big Z. It's official. He's a cat. And it's not... Maybe official isn't the word. It's official with UK admissions. We still need to get that green check from the NCAA. But everybody close to the team, close to the program, is predicting it should be smooth sailing from here. We got the tough and difficult thing out the way. And since we've last recorded, we never spoke on everything that was going on with Big Z. And I'm kind of happy about it because, it turned out to work out for us. And you don't have to hear the emotional roller coaster firsthand for that specific topic with myself because I'll be honest with you. With everything with the UK admissions and his test and him being able to speak 4 languages, etc., let's just say I wasn't so happy about it. This Big Z news had to be what I started to show off with because, we're really itching and fiending for number 9. This is the year where you're going to hear more optimism from me. These past 3 seasons have clearly not been what we've been looking for. But something tells me, not just from us going 4-0 in the summer, in Canada, beating, country teams. One team was a continent team. Anyways, all I got to say is if we're healthy, we're truly a contender. I don't care what our preseason rank is. We're about to feel like how it used to be, right? I think the last year we really had that was the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander year, but even more so the year prior with Fox Monk and Bam. That year, I feel like we're gonna have that superstar mentality again. We're gonna be all over the media. A lot of different podcasts exist now and different media sources like myself since Kentucky's been good. And I'm looking forward to collaborating with them and me getting the exposure along with our team how we deserve. And our first topic of Big Z is obviously a positive, right? He's not necessarily going to be that big man that gets the most usage, the most minutes, the most significant burn. And that's fine. He's worried about going to the NBA. Of course, he wants to win, but he's trying to get better. And he already has so much in his bag, so much talent. He's basically just going to be a weapon for us off the bench. Filling in when guys are in foul trouble, filling in for matchups, filling in when we need to get a bucket and maybe somebody's cold. But don't forget, Trey's going to play. And he's going to play a lot. He can shoot possibly better than Big Z. So where I'm going out with this is, obviously Bradshaw's going to get his minutes. He's healthy now. He looks like he put on some pounds. Let's be honest, since we've seen him throughout his high school career, he's been one of the more skinnier guys we've ever had at Kentucky. And just from these early media photo shoots, our man is looking different. And I'm hyped about that. See, I don't have these titles memorized yet, so I didn't know what sound was about to happen there, but I went for it. And anyways, finishing up on Big Z, it's a huge piece for us. It's not 100% official, but we're a lot closer to it being so than where we just were for this last month of stretch. Let's go! So since the last time we recorded, Global Jam was in session. The FIBA World Cup tournament, all these teams are trying to qualify for the Olympics. You got teams like Dominican Republic led by Karl Anthony Towns, Canada led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Obviously, we covered no cats on the American team, but my favorite story out of all of these countries was South Sudan, led by Wenyen Gabriel, who not only found success making their debut in this tournament, they also were fortunate enough to qualify for this year's upcoming Olympics, which is obviously never been done for the newest country in the world, and it's led by a Wildcat. It was great to see. They had some big upsets. I don't have the numbers here in front of me, but where I'm going out with this is not only is Wenyen Gabriel on the international level putting Kentucky on the map, but he's also making moves for his personal career, doing so many different things on and off the court for his country, and now, most recently, he signs with the Boston Celtics. And we're going to touch on that Dame trade in a little bit. We're going to touch on Jrue Holiday. Obviously, he's not involved with the Dame trade, directly, but at the same time, we got to speak on everything. But Wenyen Gabriel is in the mix. He's a Celtic. He now is a Kentucky Wildcat on the Celtics. So the Celtics are now a team that we'll be speaking on this year. And we'll go all over all of our NBA teams as we're closer to tip off. Preseason is actually just tipped off last night, and it's great to see. I'm happy. I'm all here for it. But as things go through, preseason, there may be some injuries, there may be some trades, there may be some guys getting pulled up from the G League or signing a two-way, etc. We're going to keep you up to date with all of our cats, and of course, like every year, right before season tips off, we'll go over each and every one of our cats in the league and where they are in the depth chart, what their narrative is for their team, if they have any other fellow cats as teammates, etc. I'm all here for it, but Global Jam, back to it. Obviously, unless you didn't pay attention, America didn't win. We didn't even win the bronze medal game versus Canada. And the two teams that were, thought out to be the best, and us and Canada didn't even make it to the gold medal game. Quite disappointing, but just like us, Canada didn't have all their best players out there. For whatever reason, all that matters to these top tier superstars for international basketball is the Olympics. Respectively, none of the top dogs are even on this team. America didn't have one superstar on this roster. So it kind of isn't a head scratcher why we didn't have success overall. But at the same time, it's unacceptable to not even finish as a runner-up. I get it if you lose at the buzzer, there's a better team. You lose to a better player like Luka. But Luka didn't have success either. It was a weird year. And shout out to Germany. We didn't see it happening. Them and Serbia. Slovenia is Luka. It was not the consensus. Coming in, France was one of the highest ranked teams. They had an early exit. Spain didn't show out. And, no matter how good these players were individually, like a Luka or a Cat, it wasn't enough, to do it by yourself. It's a team game. It's not, it's not boxing. It's not MMA. It's all about the team. And clearly, our team just wasn't it. And most of these guys won't be on the Olympics team. There has already been a bunch of verbal commitments from the superstars since this loss in the Olympics. And guys like Durant, LeBron, Steph, and cats like Bam and AD have also, spoke on them committing to Team USA. Obviously, health has to be in the picture. This is something down the road we'll speak on. And it's looking like we'll have at least 1 to 2 cats in the starting lineup because Devin Booker most definitely wants to be a part of that. And now, most recently, Joel Embiid has committed to Team USA too, which is kind of funny to me. I'm not going to really get into that, but it looked like LeBron was campaigning. But basically, this takes away Bam Adebayo's starting spot. And that obviously could have been taken by Anthony Davis as well. But you know how Anthony Davis is hardly healthy. Down the road, that's a long time from now to really predict if he'll be healthy at the time, respectfully. And obviously, I like AD. Not trying to throw shots. He already got his gold medal, as a rookie before he ever played a minute in the NBA after winning an NCAA championship, after winning most outstanding player in the tournament, after winning freshman of the year in the SEC, after winning defensive player of the year in the SEC. It was just amazing to see. His run, not trying to look like I'm throwing any shade on your boy because AD is special, right? And we are not out here to play no games with that man. And his name is very important for everything that we do out here. So, back to Global Jam, just finish up with my thoughts. Obviously, Wenyen Gabriel is the face of it when we're speaking on the Kentucky narrative. It did come out during Media Day for the Denver Nuggets that Jamal Murray was with Team Canada, and I did speak on that earlier on past episodes, and he admitted to the media once they started doing 2 days, he was not with that. He decided he did not want to play and represent his country this summer, and I kind of find that hilarious, the humility and honesty in him giving that answer, because most of these guys want to look like godly to people, right? They don't want to look weak. They don't want to look lazy. They don't want to look normal. That they want to have an off season where not only can they enjoy their time and maybe enjoy some time with family and loved ones, they're not trying to do it 2 days. I find that hilarious. He knew Canada would hold it down, and they did. They did so without Wiggins. They did so without Shaedon Sharpe. And hopefully all these guys, including Jamal Murray, will represent Canada in the Olympics. But, Karl Anthony Towns had some big games. He was very prideful in representing Dominican Republic. And obviously you could tell after losing his mother, it just adds another level to pride and how much wearing DR on his chest means to him. It was beautiful to see. He did great. And we're pretty much going to finish Global Jam on that. It was a disappointment overall for Team USA. I mean, the Cats had their fingerprints all over it. I mean, we can't finish up without speaking on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. First team all tournament. And I was surprised Towns didn't make that. Wenyen would have been a stretch, but Towns was the clear-cut best big man, right, in all of this FIBA World Cup. And not one big man on the team for the all-first team. Tallest guy was Luka. And that was kind of funny to me. Anyways, shout out to Shaedon Sharpe. I cannot believe I just said Shaedon Sharpe, but I'm not going to cut that out. Shout out to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's really growing on me. not necessarily saying I never liked him like that, but he's really growing on my favorite players list. I mean, it's really hard to like break the top 3 for me, right? I've got cats that I've really got years under my belt riding for them, and now it's 6 years now. Being a SGA fan, it's safe to say he's finally breaking into that top 5 range, and it's just a testament to how long it really takes. I mean, there's just so many guys. And anyways, we're finishing up on Global Jam. Shout out SGA representing Canada. Obviously, they didn't get away with the gold, but at least they were able to take down Team USA and get that bronze. Not necessarily flexing the bronze, but more so saying at least we can fly back to America. Fly back to Canada, and we just took down America, right? This past weekend, Rondo has been inducted into the UK Hall of Fame. Obviously, a legend. Being from Louisville, being from Kentucky, he's not only loyal enough to go to UK, but he found success. He is a part of probably the 2 biggest franchises in NBA history, and he won a title with both of them in Boston and the Lakers. And Rondo is all over the place right now. He's still keeping his options open. He's in the possibility of getting a call to play backup, to play a veteran role on an NBA team, or possibly get the assistant coach gig in the NBA. He hasn't necessarily declined rocking with us on the bench this year. He's also insinuated already working with the team, regardless if he does become a coach or not with us. But keep that in the books. Rondo could be on the bench beside Tyler Ulis, John Calipari, Orlando Brown, Bruiser Flint. The list goes on. Who else is there? KT Turner. Is Bruiser Flint still there? And we got one more. Riley Welch's dad, John Welsh. I believe it's John. Anyways, we're putting together the staff for number 9. And even though I can probably go deeper on Rondo and what it means to UK, we got 10 topics on this list. And we're going to get this pace pushing. Shout out to Ty Washington finding a new home in Milwaukee. Obviously, Milwaukee's been all over the news as of recent. It's a 2-way deal, so he may find himself in and out of the G League. But last night he got some minutes. He got 6 points. He got 6 assists. And he is going to be someone, hopefully, who can find his way to get some burn. And obviously, we're about to jump into this Dame trade. Might as well do it now. Damian Lillard doesn't go to Miami Heat. Doesn't go to my Miami Heat. It was heartbreaking. I remember where I was when it happened. I was at a bridge on my way to the beach, and the bridge was open for a boat, and I'm on my phone, and the alert comes on, and I was sick. I was absolutely sick, and it's just one of these things where you just gotta prosper, you just gotta get through it, you just gotta find something, somewhere, to find you some happiness. Because if you just get stuck on this, being a Heat fan, if you're just stuck on this, it's not looking good for us. Along with Boston's leveling up, they got Drew Holiday, right? They already acquired Porzingis. They just extended Pritchard. Derek White and Drew Holiday are easily the 2 best perimeter, defenders in a really long time that I can remember on a team that's a real contender. Not only do they still have their best players in Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but to acquire Drew Holiday, a veteran, somebody who is experienced in guarding Dame Lillard in the playoffs and locking him down, it's kind of insane. And, I'm a Boston hater across the board. You name the sport. But right now, that is the Miami Heat. That is the 76ers. That is the Cleveland Cavaliers. That is the New York Knicks. It's Milwaukee or Boston. Who's going to take it? I don't know. Who's going to be more healthy is probably the question. But what's cool is that this year, we have a cat on both of these teams. Boston has Wenyen, and Milwaukee has Chris Livingston and Ty Washington now. So, I'm not saying we're out here going to be going to the parade, but it's not going to be one of these teams that doesn't have any cats that we kind of look at as the villain. Because if they have success, we have success. If Ty has success, that means Chris Livingston has success and we have success. If Boston finally does what they've been trying to do, they lost in the finals most recently to the Warriors. They got upset by my Miami Heat this past year. They are on a mission. They got better. Obviously, Porzingis has to be healthy. Losing Robert Williams is huge. They lost Grant Williams, which was big, but a lot of people were trying to say Marcus Smart was a huge loss. But let me do you one better. Let me upgrade Marcus Smart and give you Jrue Holiday, somebody who's not as hot-headed and not as, I have to hit the game-winning shot or I have to shoot a three right now. Of course, Jrue Holiday is capable of being that guy, but he knows his role. He understands the mission, and he has a ring for a reason, and he knows what it takes to go all the way. Me personally with Dame, I'm not about to be a hater and just out here, rooting against Milwaukee every game. I mean, there can be a scenario where I'm rooting for them. For example, if they're in the Eastern Conference Finals versus Boston, best believe I'm not rooting for Boston. But it's one of those things, Dame Lillard, it's not his fault, right? He preferred Miami. He didn't even have Milwaukee on his list. He literally specified to Portland, only place I want to go is 305 with Jimmy and Bam, and it didn't happen. And it's heartbreaking. Actually, he did give a shout out to the Nets also. Anyways, I can't fault Dame for it, but at the same time, it's going to be so hard to watch. I mean, it would have been so much better if he went, that would just be, if he went to like the Pelicans or somewhere in the West. I was going to name a different team, but they already had a good point guard, so I had to make it realistic. But if Dame ended up on the Pelicans, it would be lit. I would still be able to, root for him, but now I just look silly rooting for him. I have a Portland Dame jersey, and probably will never wear it again, you feel me? I mean, not only for the fact that he's not on the team, it's more so the next jersey was supposed to be a red one. It was supposed to have, El Heat on it or Miami on it, you feel me? It's disappointing, but to finish up on this trade, off the rip initially, it looked like Milwaukee was the clear-cut favorite. But then a day or two later when Jrue Holiday signs with Boston, it just really shook things up. Because not only is this somebody who feels confident in guarding Dame, this is somebody who also knows what it takes to win a championship. And even though there are players on the Bucks team, like Brook, like Middleton, like Greek, who were a part of that 21 title team, it's still in question if it could work right away. I mean, we've seen a lot of super teams get put together and they don't find success right away. They find some hardships, they find some growing pains, and after a season or two, they add some more pieces and that chemistry builds, and they finally have what it takes to win. So if I were being objective, I'd say Boston's the favorite. I mean, they are the most likely team from the East to go to the finals, but I'm still definitely going to rock with the Bucks if I had to pick between the two of them, because one, I'm petty. Two, I think Giannis is more dominant than Tatum, even though Tatum's special, no shade. I hate Duke. I hate Boston. He's special. But I think Giannis, with the addition of Dame, with a healthy Brook and a hungry Middleton, that's pretty scary. And we seen last year that, Jaylen Brown was about to get overpaid. And he did. And he really isn't him to me. He's a freak athlete. He has some bright spots. But he's not him. And that's where we're ending this topic off. Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt. UK's been back at the facility for about 10 days now. About 10 practices have gone down. And obviously, There's been some time away from the team ever since this trip to Canada, and there were a lot of different narratives from Canada. But most updated news coming out of the locker room, coming out of practice, is that Rob Dillingham and Jordan Burks have already taken another step since Canada, seeing an improvement, seeing them locked in the lab, working on their craft in the gym, and really trying to do anything they can to get some burn on this team. Because let's be honest, especially for Jordan Burks, it's not going to be easy to find some burn on this roster. I mean, we got certified bucket getters on this team. We got freshmen on this team that are doing everything they can to break into rotation. And even though we haven't really necessarily got to see our true rotation yet, because we played under those rules over there in Canada that were not the same as college, it's about to be a little different. And right now I'm just like so anxious to see, and it's exciting. We've added 2 scrimmages coming up this season versus Georgetown College and Kentucky State. We'll be able to get some competitive burn under our belts besides what we do in practice every day. Obviously, practice is going to be more competitive than versus Kentucky State. However, we could really put things together, try to put some rotations and different combinations on the floor. And I really think, this is just music to my ears, because Rob Dillingham is special. He's cut from a different cloth. We have never seen a Kentucky player with this type of handle, especially in the Cal era, which is where I specialize at. Rob Dillingham got me excited. Kind of like that feeling you get like years ago when we were still the IT program. We were the golden standard. We were going to Final Fours every season and going on runs. It's starting to really remind me of that feeling. And look, we're still ways away, and we also got a lot of scheduled things happening. Like this IU series is about to come back in a few years, starting in 2025. It'll be a home and neutral, a home, and then an away game. The last away game will be 2028. The first home game will be 2025. We do remember the last time we played them, 2011 in the regular season. They beat us at the buzzer. It's their biggest moment for anybody under 30 years old in the state of Indiana, as far as college basketball goes. And it's a joke to us because we played them again in the tournament, and we absolutely dominated them. They weren't going to do that to us twice in the same season. And even though they know and they're aware of how their season ended, who kicked them out of the tournament, who then won the tournament, they are still the type of fan base to still mention the name Christian Watford and what went down that evening. It's hilarious, but it was more so a big deal because of what happened with this court storming, with the safety of the team, with the very little class these Hoosiers showed us. And Coach Cal does not forget. There are a lot of people speculating he won't even be here in 2028 to even be at that game, in Indiana. And obviously I'm not about to just debate something I have no scoop on. But if there's one thing I know Coach Cal likes, it's that bag. And if we have success this season and we take it to the next level and we get 9, how crazy would it be to get the 10th out of program? For him to get a 3rd national championship. For him to go from 1 to 2 is a big step. But to go from 2 to 3 is even bigger. And if you are a part of that special, small table that coaches have won 3 or more at, it'll be, the cherry on top for Coach Cal and his legendary career that is still in motion right now.
Ya no me enojo contigo, solo observo y pienso, me decepcionó y me alejo más de ti, porque yo ya no quiero sufrir, quiero ser feliz.
To finish off the show, we have the Kentucky OVO collaboration varsity jacket, t-shirt, ball shorts. Coach Cal was the one. Alright, so there are a few other schools that got this collaboration, and you got like Texas, and who else was it? I don't want to. Maybe Gonzaga was one of them, or nah, UConn. I don't remember off the top of my head, but you just see different, clothing models wearing the gear, right? But for Kentucky, it was Coach Cal, and I was all here for it. Swaggy Cal is here to stay. He already has the Calipari OVO Jordan colorway, and now this varsity jacket OVO is just tough, and I already know it's gonna be a bag to buy that, but best believe I do plan on getting my hands on one of those varsity jackets. But even the t-shirts or the hoodies or the ball shorts, they all look great, and I think you can hear the excitement in my voice, right? But for whatever reason, with all these topics I had written down, I got through them pretty quickly. I was expecting this episode to be a lot thicker. But let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for stopping by for another edition of the Flexingtons. I'm super geeked to be back. I'm super geeked to be back in Florida. Richie Lanza checking out. Be sure to be following me on everything. We got Twitter. We got X, which is the same thing. Instagram, Facebook. Everything is at the Flexingtons. Besides X, it's at Richie Lanza. TikToks are about to be dropping. I'm really excited. I got a bunch in the clip. Doing it the right way. Y'all remember I've been speaking on this, and my time is coming. It's Richie Lanza checking out. Thank you so much once again. I'll see you again next week. We're back to the weekly content, and big news coming soon. Stay tuned.